I watched, in this order, Army of Darkness and then Evil Dead 2. It's funny because you watch Army of Darkness, you're like, okay, this is a parody movie. This is like Airplane or something. You know what I mean? This is like one of the Monty Python movies. There's little elements here and there of there being horror kind of aesthetics and like kind of fantasy aesthetics, but it mostly is a comedy, right? And it has the little prelude at the start where it's like a recap of Evil Dead 2. It was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch Evil Dead 2. You Google it, it says horror comedy. So you're expecting it to also be wacky, for it to also be slapstick, and it's really not as much. That one's like a horror movie with funny moments in it. It's like a satire of horror movies as a whole. You know what I mean? It's crazy as well. Evil Dead 2, God, labelled as, I think they call it a video nasty. By today's standards, you look at the fucking arm chop off scene in 127 hours that goes on for 127 hours. So graphic and gruesome. I get that that's the whole point of the movie. It's not something that gets pulled from cinemas. But you look at Axe cutting off his arm, like, you don't even see the arm. He brings the chainsaw down and blood splatters on his face and he shouts. It's very like, I don't know, Hitchcock or something. That's probably one of the most solid shots in cinema history. Just goes on for so long. Apparently Sam Raimi just enjoyed torturing Bruce Campbell, so that's where a lot of the movie seems to come from. There's actually some very hilarious things in Evil Dead 2 when his hand is possessed and he just keeps smashing bowl after bowl over his head, and there'll be like a second where you think it's dying down, it's going to do something else, and he grabs another bowl and smashes them. It's fucking hilarious. I love Evil Dead 2, and it's like watching Evil Dead 2 made me appreciate Army of Darkness more, and having watched Army of Darkness first, that gave me a lot of appreciation for Evil Dead 2. Seemed like Sam Raimi wanted to make Army of Darkness next after Evil Dead, but Dino De Laurentiis was like, no, according to the wiki, was like, no, we need something similar to Evil Dead 1, because that was kind of like a critical darling. So they basically made the same movie again, but just added a bunch of like fucking slapstick jokes. There's like genuinely fucking like unsettling moments in it, like when his girlfriend rises from the grave and she starts dancing. It's like that felt like something out of Nightmare Before Christmas. It felt like Beetlejuice or something. It felt like you know what I mean, like gothic almost, where it's like it's like an aesthetic beyond horror. The groovy line, right? It's just, I've watched that clip now on my phone probably like 15 times since I watched it yesterday. Just his delivery of the word groovy, it's so stellar. Entirely like a serious horror movie the whole way, and then at the very end he fucking is going full like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone movie, where he has like a little punchline after he delivers his, you know what I mean, like, swallow this. I find it really funny when they're flicking through their Necronomicon, and this book was made 3,000 years ago, whatever. They get to a page that's clearly just an illustration of Ash, because it has the same colour outfit as he's wearing, it has the same gun he has, and it has the chainsaw that he had in his hand. And they don't acknowledge it. They don't say that to one another. And even when he starts building the chainsaw arm for himself, he never acknowledges, they never like, oh, this is just like the thing in the book where the dude had a chainsaw for a hand, like, and they never say, oh, we're doing this because in the book it showed a guy with a chainsaw for a hand. Maybe that's the implication. Like, I don't know. With Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, it's like very short, you know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that it's like always moving at a pace. They do have moments where they're able to like build some tension, you know what I mean? And it's pre-jump scare, so you know when they're doing tension, it is for suspense reasons. It's not just to prime you for something to go blah. That was Roger Ebert's review, was that if you are into filmmaking and you're aware, you know what I mean, this is all special effects, it's a very fun ride. Like moments where in Evil Dead 2 where it actually, I felt what they were trying to make me feel. The hand comes back. The disembodied hand that's been fighting Bruce Campbell comes back and stabs the death proof looking lady in the back, and it's like a genuine gasp. It's like, fuck, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that. And that hand had been used for just comic relief for most of the other fucking movies. Like, that's the thing, trying to describe these movies to people, and like hearing other people talk about these movies, they sound like horrific. They sound like genuine scary horror movies, but they're fun. They're like lighthearted, kind of like fucking. There's genuinely a lot of humor in them, and a lot of like it's not taking itself too seriously.
Wait a minute. Hold it. Nobody said anything about 3 books.
I can imagine a version of this that is taking itself seriously, and they light it differently, and they shoot it differently, and it probably wouldn't have been a cult classic in the way that it is. I think they're on par with one another, you know what I mean? But they're so different. They're so different. It's like Gremlins and Gremlins 2. It's like Batman and Batman Returns. They're just borderline incomparable. But like the fact that if you were to sit down and watch Evil Dead 1, 2 and then Army of Darkness, that experience would be so fucking crazy, because the first one is apparently a straight horror movie. The second one introduces some slapstick and some humor, and then by the time you get to Army of Darkness, it's like a fucking kids movie. Bruce Campbell said that himself. This should have been PG. They rated it R-rated, whatever, for some reason. But it's like, it is, there's some tits in it. You could have edited around the tits, and I think, boom, that's a PG. All the stuff of him in the S-Mart is hilarious. I love that. I'd watch, like, if they did a movie where half an hour of it was him in S-Mart before the demons show up, I'd watch that, and that would probably be my favourite part of the movie.
Hardware, aisle 12. Shop Smart, shop S-Mart.
But I feel like Army of Darkness is more trodden ground, because that's more like a normie movie. Like Army of Darkness, I feel like you could put on at like a party, you know what I mean? At like a gaff party, everyone's having a few beers or whatever, and people would laugh, people would enjoy it. But if you put on Evil Dead 2, I feel like you have to be in on it. You have to be aware that this is trying to be funny, because there's long stretches where there isn't that much comedy in it, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I feel like Evil Dead 2 needs some explaining. I feel like Evil Dead 2 is a bad trip, you know what I mean? If you're not on the right wavelength of stoned, Evil Dead 2 is going to be a bad trip. Army of Darkness is like any day of the week. You can put that shit on any time of day. You can fucking fall asleep to that movie. You can eat your breakfast to that movie. Army of Darkness, like, no notes, absolutely no notes, 10 out of 10.